Hi all, I'm Dina Basiglio-Sheridan here with Basiglio-Sheridan Show, and I'm here with you today for a criminal law update. So let's talk scooters, and more specifically, scooter DUIs. Are SUIs a thing? Well, let's look at Florida law to find out. So we all know that Florida is famous for having unusual and strange headlines, and our DUIs are no different. We've had DUIs on riding lawnmowers, golf carts, even on a horse. So we've all seen these scooters around town. There's different companies. Popular here in Tampa are Lime and Bird. And they're the scooters that you stand on and can just rent for a short period of time. But something that tends to go hand in hand with those types of scooters is drinking. So let's start with the DUI statute. So what constitutes a DUI in the state of Florida? You can actually be arrested and ultimately convicted of DUI if you are found to be, number one, driving or in actual physical control of a vehicle within the state, and either your normal faculties are impaired, and I'll get to how an officer makes that determination in just a minute, or you have a breath alcohol reading of over 0.08 in the breath test. And whether or not you should submit to a breath test is a different question, and that's a popular question for sure. But it's generally answered in the negative, meaning no, you should not, unless you are absolutely certain you've had nothing to drink, and your intoxilizer or breathalyzer result will be what we call triple zeros. So nothing showing up in your system. But that's definitely something you want to go over with your lawyers and talk about if you have already had a DUI or an SUI, and we can see whether or not there's something we can do to contest the results. Sometimes those machines are inaccurate. There are important factors to consider before refusing to give a breath sample, and the most important is that you will lose your driver's license. And there are ways to fight that as well, but you definitely want to talk to a lawyer about whether or not you should refuse or whether or not you already have refused if you have a DUI or an SUI, as we're calling that. And the one other thing that I had mentioned was, how does an officer determine whether your normal faculties are impaired? So let's say you do refuse to give a breath sample, and now all they have to go on is what they see and what they observe. Well, they're going to look at the obvious things, the odor of alcohol. They may see cans of open alcohol in your vehicle when they look in. They may see your eyes looking bloodshot, glassy, watery. These are all factors that they can look at. And some officers also do another test called the HGN, the horizontal gaze nystagmus, where they have your eyes track side to side, and where they wobble or deviate on the sides kind of give them an indication of whether or not you may be impaired. Some of that information is not admissible in court, but we here at Basiglio-Sheridan Show, of course, know what is and is not admissible, and will fight those factors in your favor. Okay, so now that we know what constitutes a DUI, what is a vehicle under Florida statutes, and are scooters like Bird and Lime included in that definition? So a vehicle in Florida statutes is defined as every device in, upon, or by which any person or property is or may be transported or drawn upon a highway. And specifically, there's a definition of motorized scooter, and it is defined as a vehicle, which is important because we remember that the word vehicle was used in the DUI statute. So a motorized scooter is a vehicle not having a seat or a saddle, which is exactly what those Bird and Lime scooters are. So our answer is yes, you can get a DUI with one of those stand-on rental scooters that are so popular right now. If you have questions about it, or if you've already been charged with a scooter DUI or any other criminal charge, call our attorneys to find out the best way to handle your case. And remember, we are your partners in law.